In this video, I will be making predictions for each and every of the 6 matches at WWE Night of Champions 2026 that could include winners, losers, returns, debuts, run-ins, and anything else. So, let's get into it. Reportedly, the show is going to kick off with the King and Queen of the Ring matches, which I want to say is a very ballsy move considering there is 2 very right answers and 2 very wrong answers to the King and the Queen of the Ring matches. It is very ballsy by WWE, because if they don't make the right decisions with both of these, nobody's going over to make that purchase to watch the rest of the show. It has a potential to just make the show a stinker. Imagine Jey Uso and Liv Morgan are your King and Queen of the Ring. Nobody's watching the rest of the show. But let's talk about what I assume will be the first match, that being Obafemi versus Jey Uso in the King of the Ring finals. This is a really tough one to predict, and I also think that the winner of the Braun versus Seth match is going to be a big determining factor in who wins this. My reasoning for that being is I think they might still be looking at Roman versus Seth at SummerSlam. And if we want that, Seth needs to win. But if not, Braun Breaker should definitely win. But if Seth Rollins wins, then that means Jey Uso is probably going to win King of the Ring to go after Cody Rhodes. Because Oba and Seth can't really both go after Roman. Let's go through some scenarios here. Let's say Obafemi wins. First question, does Brock Lesnar attack him after the match? Because that's another thing that could happen. If he does, do we get Roman and Oba and Roman, or do we get Roman Oba and Brock Oba at SummerSlam, night 1 and night 2? If he doesn't, do we get Oba versus Brock at Saturday night's main event before SummerSlam? Do we get it at all this year? Do we wait till WrestleMania next year? Does he even challenge Roman? I know he has said that he will challenge Roman, but I don't think we could rule out the realm of possibility of WWE just changing their minds and having him go after Cody. There's just so many questions with this match. Let's say Jey wins. I assume that it would be because of Brock Lesnar. And if that does happen, if Brock does end up costing Jey Uso better not pin him. I do not care what happens. Do not let Jey Uso pin Obafemi. You can have Brock attack Jey to cause a DQ. You could have Brock create a double countout or something, or get counted out. Although I don't know if you're going to be able to do that because the dude took 7 F5s, one of them through the table, and still got up at like the count of 8 at Clash in Italy. I do think this is going to be a very adrenaline-filled match because I don't think anybody really wants Jey Uso to win. And just having that concern in the back of your head the whole time will make for a very investing match. This is really tough because I honestly feel like it could go either way. It should be an obvious 100% no doubt decision that Obafemi's going to win, but unfortunately that's not the world of WWE that we live in. We live in one where they force Jey Uso into the main event scene sometimes. I get the first time putting him in the main event scene, having him win the Rumble, having him win the title. I get it. There's no way for you to know if that's going to work or not. And I'm glad that they tried. But it very clearly didn't work, and they realized that because they took the title off of him after like less than 2 months, giving it back to Gunther. So I don't know why they would put him back into the main event scene after that happened. This is honestly extremely tough. I think Obafemi should win, but I think I'm going to say that Jey Uso does end up winning this, unfortunately. As much as I want to be wrong, I pray to God, I might get into praying just for this, that I just please have Obafemi win. I'm predicting Jey because I don't trust WWE to do something cool like that. But if I am wrong, I will be the happiest person to ever be wrong. Then let's talk about the Queen of the Ring match between Liv Morgan and Io Sky. And I think this one, again, should be a 100% no doubt like one correct winner and one only, that being Io Sky. But you can't sit there and tell me that you don't see WWE doing something stupid where they try to get heat on Liv Morgan by having her win the Queen of the Ring and win the women's title. The other women's title, I should say. Liv Morgan, like, she shouldn't even be in this match. She shouldn't have been in the tournament. It's ridiculous. And I would love to see, assuming Io wins this, I would love to see Io versus Liv. But I just, if we get Io versus Liv again at SummerSlam, it's just going to be a rematch. And yeah, it'll still probably be a really good match, but I wish that it would be a first time match. I would honestly love to see Io go after Rhea, assuming that Rhea is able to be back in time for SummerSlam. I suppose if you add Stephanie Vaquer to this match, making it a triple threat, I would love that. That would be an absolute banger of a match. Stephanie and Io are two of the greatest wrestlers in the world, and Liv is phenomenal. Well, professional wrestlers, but you know, that match would bang. So if Stephanie maybe returns here, maybe she attacks Io after the match, maybe she attacks Liv after the match, maybe she costs Liv. I would like to see that triple threat at SummerSlam. However, I would want, I think, Io Sky to win that because she didn't get a fair shake with the world title the first time. But I'll trust WWE with this one. I think Io Sky should and will end up winning. And I think it will probably be because of Stephanie Vaquer. And I forgot to say it for this match, but I think Jay will win because of Brock Lesnar. Then we have the steel cage match between Seth freaking Rollins and Braun Breaker. I talked a little bit about this earlier. If they are still planning on doing Seth versus Roman at SummerSlam, which I would be very okay with, I would be very open to that idea, then if that's going to happen, have Seth Rollins win. But in any other scenario, have Braun Breaker win. Because Braun Breaker is the young star. He could use this rub. He doesn't need it, but it would definitely help him. And another wild card we have to take into consideration here is Bronson Reed potentially returning. He is back in training. He seems like he's basically good to go. I'm going to say Bronson Reed doesn't return here because he was injured on February 23rd, 2026. And as of the recording of this video, June 24th, it has been exactly 4 months and 1 day since he injured himself. And the recovery time is 4 to 6 months. So you would have to be on the very, very low end of the spectrum when it comes to recovery for this. And I don't feel like he's ring ready yet. So I'm going to say Seth Rollins wins and goes on to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Then we have a Women's United States Championship match between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Finally, the women's title, the women's US title is on a PLE. And I really, really hope that this match is given enough time, even though it's in Saudi Arabia. But since they just basically hate women, I am very concerned that it will not get enough time. Especially since one of them is African American, which is ridiculous, but that's a completely different conversation. And the reason I want them to have time is because A, they're going to have good chemistry. They've had, I believe, 2 or 3 matches. Let me look it up. According to Google, they have had 6 matches, so they are going to have good chemistry, and that includes tag team matches. But also, Jade Cargill has significantly improved in the ring since their last match, that being Saturday Night's Main Event back in November 1st, I believe it was, where Jade squashed Tiffy for the title because Tiffy had that knee injury and was out for months. 2 months, I think, to be exact, specific. But yeah, Jade has gotten a lot better. And their match at SummerSlam, even though they were only given like 8 minutes, I believe, was really, really solid for the time it was given. And the US title could use a really good match. So I hope they get like a good 15 minutes. But focusing on the winner and loser, this is a little bit tough because if Tiffy wins, it would be good. It would make sense because I don't think Jade was originally supposed to be in this match. I think she was originally supposed to go against Rhea again here, completing the trilogy for the WWE Women's Championship, but Rhea got injured, so I think they just threw Jade in here, and this would be a good win for Tiffany Stratton to cement herself as champion, because she hasn't defended the title at all, I don't think, as champion so far. However, if you give Jade the win here, and she, I would assume, faces Charlotte at SummerSlam, Charlotte Flair, for the U.S. title, that would bring a lot of prestige to the U.S. title. Having one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time and an absolute monster in Jade Cargill both going after it would help the title a lot. However, I think that Tiffany Stratton will end up winning here, and I think that is probably the right decision, because Charlotte and Jade doesn't need the title. I definitely won't be mad if Jade does end up winning here, but I think Tiffany Stratton will be the one who comes out on top. I think she should and will be coming out on top. No interference or anything, just a clean win for Tiffany Stratton. Then we have another United States Championship match between Trick Williams and Ricky Saints. I think this one's pretty easy to predict. Trick Williams, I think, is going to be your winner. Even though he hasn't defended the title yet, he's been doing really good things with the title. And I still think we're going to get that Mello and Trick feud for the title probably at SummerSlam. I think we might even get a triple threat at SummerSlam between Ricky, Trick, and Mello for the U.S. title. But either way, I don't think there'll be... Maybe Carmelo Hayes could come in during this match. I think this will actually be a surprisingly good match. Might even steal the show, I'd say. But nonetheless, I think Trick Williams will come out on top. Tricky will come out on top over Ricky. And that's my final answer, as it should and will be. Then in the main event between, I assume the main event between Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Gunther. At this point, I don't want Gunther to win. You've already done irreparable damage to him. Giving him the title is just going to, it's not going to make for good TV. He's not as scary anymore. He lost all of his aura, and it would just be overall bad. Don't really want Sammy to win here either, as a heel in Saudi Arabia. Well, he's going to be a babyface over in Saudi Arabia, but then as soon as he comes back to the US, he's going to be back to a heel, and I think it would shake up the road to SummerSlam. But what good match could Sami Zayn realistically have at SummerSlam for the title? And even though Cody Rhodes' character is not the most entertaining character right now, I think he will come out on top, because I think WWE still wants to do Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam, as they should do. And you can't really do it without the title at this point. Like, if we could do it without the title, I would probably say Sammy should win. But they made the Cody and Randy feud all about the title when they didn't have to. So now that feud has to be for the title. So obviously without Cody having the title, you can't do it. I could maybe even see Randy returning after the match to attack Cody Rhodes again, which I think would be pretty freaking awesome. I think Cody should and will win here. It gives you the best match available for SummerSlam. And I'm now realizing that I said Jey Uso will win and challenge Cody Rhodes, but that would mean we won't get Randy versus Cody. So I don't know anymore at this point. There is just so many different scenarios that could happen, and I like it, but I also don't, because there is a possibility for very, very bad decisions. Whatever, I'll say Gunther ends up winning this, but I think Cody should. I think they want to save the Sami Zayn moment for next year at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, and back when he's probably a babyface. But yeah, that's going to be it for my Night of Champions predictions. Let me know what you think. Let me know your Night of Champions predictions. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. And bye. And a reminder, I will be streaming Night of Champions this Saturday, right when it starts.